Let's start with this thing everybody wants to know about.
All right.
Shooting, Mike. Who is your best shooter in this year's draft?
Cameron Johnson, North Carolina, 6'8", 45% from three on over 200 attempts last season. He's got a strap. I mean, the guy can get it off quickly. He can shoot it off the move. I'm a big fan of his game. He has a great feel. There's a lot to like about him. Mature player. He's going to help from day one.
I agree, Mike. I agree. I watched Cam. Yes, I agree with you 100% on this.
I agree as well. And also, I think he'd be a great fit for a team like Perk's old team, OKC. They need a guy like
absolutely.
that. Ready to play and can shoot.
Yep.
Oh, they really need shooting.
Yes.
So.
He's the guy. That's who I'm going with.
I agree.
Excellent. All right, we'll have to see how he fits into a league that values that skill probably more than any other right now. I want to get into ball handling, though, because that's a fun one, too. Who's your best ball handler?
Darius Garland. He has it on a string. He can change speeds. He can change directions. He's the best off-the-dribble shooter in the draft, and I think his handle is a big reason why. It reminds me a little bit of Dame Lillard, to be honest, just in terms of how he gets to his spots, step-back game, change of pace, and he's a guy who was the #1 point guard on our board coming into the season.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So we had Darius on the jump during the NBA Finals, and look, because he got hurt, it really changed the projection. We keep talking about, oh, this is kind of a three-player draft, and then there's a gap, and then there's whatever. I've heard you say on our air all week, though, you think that Darius should be in that top group.
I think he should be in the conversation, and I think if he played a full season at Vanderbilt, we'd be talking about, is it Darius or is it Ja as the best point guard in the draft? I mean, they're different, right?
Yeah.
Darius is more of a scoring guard, but if you look at the NBA right now, you guys know, the guys who are having the most success are guys who can shoot it off the dribble with range, right? You talk about Steph, you talk about Dame, you talk about Kyrie, and that's what this kid does.
Yep.
The thing that I love that you mentioned, a lot of times we think about best handles, you think about the guy cross to make him dance, but his change of tempo. He's got such a great change. It's like an off-speed pitch for a pitcher. He's tremendous at it.
No, that's what we talk about Kyrie often, right?
Yeah.
Kyrie, yes, he's great with the flashy moves around the basket, but that change of tempo is what gets guys every time.
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence, man, because I'm just all the way a Jay Morant fan. I think he just has it all, man, and I think he got the ball on the string, and I think he's an elite point guard, and I just haven't seen enough of Garland, but I think Jay Morant is the best point guard in this draft.
Well, it's funny you mentioned John Morant because we're about to get to best passer. I think, Perk, that Mike is about to make you happy.
I love John Morant. I'm with him. I think he's the clear #2 prospect in the draft and the best passer in the draft. He can do it with his right. He can do it with his left. He actually reminds me a little of Trae Young in terms of his style of facilitating. Everyone talked about Trae's shooting, right, in college. Everyone talks about Ja's athleticism. But it's really his passing that transcended to the NBA level. I think it's going to be very similar with Ja.
I agree. He's a Russell Westbrook type athleticism player with a Rondo IQ.
Damn. I got to get you to write one of my bios. I'd like to be talked about anyway. I like that. Well, you like Ja, too.
Of course. I mean, look, this is one of the no-brainers. Led the nation in assists. And you know what I like? He does it in the full court. He does it in the half court as well. Just a high IQ player, and you could tell he sees the plays develop before they actually happen.
All right, I'm going to name this the Brian Windhorst category because Brian loves shot blockers. He says we need to reward defense more. Who is your best shot blocker coming into this class?
Brandon Clarke, and he has a 6'8" wingspan. He weighs 205 pounds. But it doesn't matter. He led our ESPN Top 100 in block percentage, averaged over 4 blocks per 40 minutes last season.
He's not probably in the top, maybe a first-round pick, but, man, he was the best shot blocker to me, man.
There's something, if you can do this,
doesn't
having to jump off the ground,
I'm just translating it to an NBA level. I think Taco could actually block a couple of superstars. I think he'll try Russ. He'll try LeBron. That's just my opinion.
All right, I want to get to a category that I like so much, the two-way player, because aren't we all supposed to be two-way players? Isn't that the idea? And yet, it's its own category, Mike, so help me out.
Talk to me.
Virginia's DeAndre Hunter.
Ooh,
he's the best defender, all-around, versatile defender in the draft, and he shot over 40% from three both this seasons at Virginia. 6'8", 230 pounds, 7'2" wingspan. Kind of like a rich man's OG Anunoby is kind of how I see him. And he's an immediate impact guy, 21 years old.
So I want to ask you, what do you think his upside is? Because he is a little, quote-unquote, older, and I think he can step in right away and help a team win. But in terms of 3, 4, 5 years down the line, is he, like you say, an OG Anunoby type, or can he become something more than that?
I think when you look at his trajectory and how much he's improved, you're going to project more improvement just because he's a worker. But, you know, there are questions about his feel for the game.
Absolutely.
His ball handling. He doesn't have the best natural hands. So I kind of see him as more a 4th or 5th option who's an all-league defender.
Well, I agree with you again. but my boy Mike, I do have another player that I love so highly from Tennessee, and that's Grant Williams.
Yes.
As far as two-way players, I mean, on the defensive end, this guy, I coached him at the combine. He literally could go 1 through 5, and he does it all. His shot then got better, and he scores. He got a nice mid-range. He finished around the rim. He's very athletic. He's an underrated shot blocker. He reminds me of a poor man, Draymond Green, just a little bit.
I like all those comparisons.